Jesus heals many with a man with leprosy. Jesus eats with sinners at Matthew's house. Religious leaders ask Jesus about fasting. The disciples pick wheat on the Sabbath. Jesus heals a man's hand on the Sabbath. So much is happening very, very, very quickly. And I love the stories that are told about Jesus. I love stories, period. And if you guys are like me, we love a good storyteller, right? I'm not a great storyteller, but my husband, I love to hear him tell stories. His name is Fred. I love to hear him tell stories because he laughs the whole way through. And his laugh is loud. He's from the South. It is very boisterous. It carries. And I have no idea. By the end of his story, I have more questions than answers. But the story itself was amazing. It was entertaining. I laughed. And I think a good storyteller can make you feel something. So I love that in the Bible, Jesus understood how much we would love stories. He had Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all tell their story about Jesus from their own perspective, right? We have Jesus' story from a tax collector all the way through Jesus' story from a doctor. And so in Luke, we hear some of the same stories, but from Luke's perspective. So stories are meaningful. Stories allow us to connect. So we're going to use stories today to talk about this idea of invitations, okay? And I think that I love a good invitation. You guys love a good invitation. I think stories are an invitation to be able to use our mind and our body to visualize something that's just flat on the page. So we're going to use stories to ask a few questions today. Okay, the first question that I'm going to ask you guys to think about is, how are you? How are you? So a couple of semesters ago, Melinda talked about how sometimes we say, how are you? And we're really just like, oh, I'm fine, right? Like our standard answer. But I was at an equity board meeting today with a friend of mine, Dr. Salou, who's also here. And she led the meeting, and it was a group of people similar to this around tables. And she started the meeting by saying, how are you? No, really, how are you? If you think in your head one or two words to describe how are you feeling right now. Now, I know your answer is going to be different. You know, if you have kids in childcare, when you pick them up, it might be a different answer when you pick them up. Your answer tonight might be very different than your answer from this morning. That's okay, it shifts. But right now, how are you? Get those things into your head. And as you're doing that, I just want to pray over us. Okay. Dear God, thank you. Thank you for how we're feeling. You know more than we even know what's going on in our hearts and our minds, what's going on in the outside world, the joys and the pains and the aches, and we're so grateful that it all matters to you. In consideration of how we're feeling right now, we invite in the Holy Spirit. In spite of how we're feeling, Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Dear God, we accept your invitation to engage with your word tonight. May I, along with every woman here, give ourselves permission and space to just be here right now in your presence in this moment. May we accept your invitation, the gift of being present. Amen. Amen. Okay. In the spirit of invitation, I wrote a little invitation that's up here on the screen, and I'll read this. So this is an invitation I put together for the women of Flourish, and we're looking at this from the perspective of Jesus wrote this. Okay, this is Jesus's invitation to you, the women of Flourish. You're invited today. Okay, here's the deal, ladies. Drop the hairnets, fishing nets, put down the tax collector ledgers, even though it's tax season, and say goodbye to the farmhouse life. We're going on an adventure. You won't need your comfy beds with your luxury down pillows because we're camping out in the wilderness of Arizona. Leave your cute flats and bring a good pair of sandals. Trust me on that. We'll be facing some seriously tough crowds and some weird conspiracy theories. But on the upside, free bread and fish for everyone. Lots of wow moments, and I promise no more bad hair days. Also, spoiler alert, you might get some major social media and street cred when I come back in 3 days. But that's a later thing. So, who's in? No refunds if you change your mind mid-journey. Okay, who's taking that invitation? Only because it's Jesus, right? Yeah, if it's Jesus, you're like, yes, sign me up. We've all accepted this invitation, right? If it's coming from anybody else, no thank you. I mean, some of this sounds good, like an adventure sounds good, wearing sandals, no more bad hair days. Bread, especially if it's cornbread, which is my weakness, that all sounds good. But what might be missing from this invitation is that you might also get stoned. You might get thrown in prison. You may die. You may be outcasted. You may not be well liked. But all of that is part of Jesus' invitation. And in Luke, we see that he is extending this invitation to his disciples. We see his first extension to Peter on the boat. And he says, drop everything and follow me. And Peter didn't get the luxury of details like we got. He dropped his net and followed Jesus. So in the spirit of invitations, this is an interactive night, so I'm going to be asking you guys some questions. There are some appealing things about this invitation, right? Not this one in particular, but Jesus' invitation overall. So what is appealing to you about Jesus' invitation? Yes. Ooh, eternal life with the Lord. Who would not want that? Yes, that's beautiful. What else? We've all accepted his invitation, right? Yes. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Peace, an invitation to peace. What else? Joy. We could use a lot of that every day. Yes. Love, like pure love in our messiest of messy. Love. Love that. What else? Forgiveness. Who said it? Thank you, Julie. Forgiveness. Imagine getting an invitation to constant forgiveness. What else? There's another hand back here. Truth. That's worth a lot. Truth, that's a good one. Did someone have a hand up? Laura. Truly knowing him, like a good relationship, not a fake one or a superficial one, like a deep relationship with him. Yes. Hope. That's good. That's good. A daily dose of hope, renewed every morning. Yes. Any other ones? Our identity. Knowing who we are. How sweet is this invitation? It's beautiful. It's like a gift, and we don't deserve it. He's giving it to us out of the generosity and the grace of his heart. His invitation is an invitation to freedom. Adama, did you have one? Grace. Grace and mercy. We don't deserve it. But grace, it's so beautiful. It is the most beautiful thing. And Jesus is offering this to people who have no idea what they're about to be in store for. All he says to them is, follow me. And they're saying, yes, this is what they're signing up for. This is what we sign up for when we say yes to Jesus. I love hosting. I love a good invitation to go to things. So how many people are going to Malawi this summer? Alethea, who else is going? Oh, yeah. Oh, Latoya, yeah. Yes, Laura, okay. And did someone up here raise their hand? No, okay, I'm volunteering you. I'm inviting you to Malawi. Last summer when I went to Malawi and my family accepted the invitation to Malawi, 1 or 2 weeks before we left, and I'm already all the things. You guys heard this last semester, my first time out of the country, all of these things. And I have a whole family that's going. Palmer, in his sermon, talks about Malawi, and he shares a story about a big mamba snake being on his porch, crawling around, and having to kill it with a candy cane, Veronica, wooden candy cane. I'm like, this is not the story I want to hear 2 weeks before I go to Malawi. Like, no, that is not. But it was still a cool story, and for people who love adventure, that was probably like, ooh, I hope I see a snake in Malawi. I didn't see any. For the people who are going, I did not see a single snake. But in chapters 5 and 6, we see Jesus inviting tons of people, 12 disciples specifically, and a slew of other women and followers to follow him throughout his short lifespan that we see in the coverage of Luke throughout these stories. So here are some characteristics that I loved about Jesus' invitation, in addition to all the great ones that you guys just shared, that it's an open invitation. Anyone could come. This is not an exclusive party. There's no dress attire that's required. You don't have to be a specific age or race. You don't have to have a certain type of job or make a certain type of income. And it's a 24/7 kind of party, right? It doesn't end. It's constant. It's 24/7. There's no gift registry, right? There is no Amazon thing to go sign up and you have to come bearing gifts. No, he is the gift. And he's inviting us into that generosity. And I love that it's so personal, in addition to everything that you guys just said. So you guys have received invitations before. Think about maybe your favorite invitation. Maybe you were invited to marry someone. Maybe you were invited to baptize someone or pray over someone. Or maybe you were invited to be part of a team that you've been wanting to be a part of for a long time. Maybe you were invited to be a godmother or a mentor. I got an invitation recently from a good friend of mine to go see the concert Syncopated Ladies. Has anyone seen it? Has anyone heard of it? I heard of it. Okay, I hadn't heard of it, and it was for me and my husband to go with her and her husband. And I immediately said yes, because it didn't matter what the play was about, it was the company. These are people I enjoy being with, and I love their company. And Jesus' invitation is very similar. If I had gotten this invitation from anyone else other than Jesus, I would not be signing up for none of that. Well, some of that, the bread, but like most of that I would not be signing up for. But sometimes it's the company and who we invite that makes the party, right? So Jesus could have easily done this thing alone. He did not need our help, but he wanted our help. And he chose 12 disciples to go through this life with him. So this is Black History Month. We have a few more days in February. So I wanted to take this time to kind of share a really cool Black history fun fact with all of you. But first, let me ask, does anyone know how to jump rope? I'm not gonna, you don't have to come show me. Okay, so this is a participation thing. Like, everyone should have their hand raised. We all know how to jump rope, right? So who knows how to jump rope? Yes, ladies, beautiful. Okay, we have a jump rope. So who wants to come and demonstrate how to jump rope? Who's coming? Yes, all right, come on up. Yes, I appreciate that. Tell me your name. Tay. Hi, Tay. Thank you for volunteering. And she looks cute, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. Tay, are you okay with sandals on? That would be great. I would prefer it. No, we don't want that. Okay. So, Tay, and all of you, you remember how to jump rope, right? So, I'm going to give you these. And we're going to cheer for Tay. Let's go, Tay. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it, Tay. Come on. That's okay. We practice. It's long. Yes. Yeah. Woo! Tay's getting height on that, too. Yes, Tay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, don't go anywhere, Tay.
Okay.
Don't leave yet, Tay. Okay, so like there's a few things you got to know about jumping rope, right? Like what? What might?
Rotating your wrist, stepping from your toes, engaging with your core.
Engaging with the core? She's a professional jumper. Yes, right? And like, it's you can do it by yourself. It's fun to do. You're out of breath at the end of it, right? Yep, and I'm making you talk while you're out of breath. Thank you, Tay. Okay, Tay, don't leave. All right, so does anyone else want to practice jump roping? Yes, come on up. Your table is cheering you on. And tell everybody your name. Elisa. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Make it a little shorter if you need to.
What?
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Okay.
All right, Elisa. Ooh. Oh, okay. She was getting fancy. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I might call you guys back up in a second, but thank you. Can we clap for our exhibitors? Okay, there's a reason I'm doing this, I promise. Okay, so that is jump rope. Has anyone ever heard of double dutch? You have? Okay, who can tell me what double dutch is? Everyone does this, like yes. More people than I thought. So here's a little Black History Month fact for you. The origins of it. Some say that it came from as far back as Egypt and possibly China. But in the 1600s, the Dutch brought it here to North America. And it became popular in New York City between like 1940 and 1950s. It became a really popular game. So popular that in the 70s, it kind of took over New York. And it became even a high school sport. It made its way all the way to the West Coast because growing up, I double dutched all the time. And it became so popular that it was a kind of a way to keep people busy and off the street and out of gang activity. So it grew and grew and grew among the Black community in New York, and it spread and it spread and it spread. So it became so popular that there were 2 New York police detectives that said, this is helping so many of our young girls stay out of gangs and off of drugs that we're going to formalize this into a competition. So they started the first double dutch competition. And the competitions are intense, they're crazy. It became so much of a big thing on the East Coast that it became a high school varsity sport. People were doing this in high school as a varsity sport. Love it. And it even started becoming integrated into the hip hop culture. So I have a short video for you all to see what double dutch looks like, and then we'll go from there.
It's the fancy footwork, staying in sync with the ropes, people watching and anticipating the tricks of more experienced jumpers. That's the excitement that comes along with double dutch.
I grew up in an era before iPhones and iPads where you had to go outside and find something to do.
Tanisha Reinhardt started Philly Girls Jump in 2016.
A friend and I, her name is Della Burns, we were just talking about ways that we can start moving and be more active. So she put up a Facebook post. We were hoping to get 5 to 10 of our friends to meet us in a park to jump rope for fun. And over 2,000 people showed up.
What started off as just an idea and form of exercise soon became a movement, attracting dozens of spectators and jumpers at weekly meetups in the heart of Philly. A favorite location, the Art Museum steps.
It's like music, so it's like you're dancing in the rope. So it gives you that feel of like love and happiness.
Philly Girls Jump is more than just jumping rope, and it's not just for girls, as you see. It's kind of like an unspoken art.
Now, crisscross.
Growing up in West Philadelphia, Tanisha attended Philadelphia Girls High School,
I met some beautiful people who I'm still in contact with today.
like Rashida McLean.
Tanisha is my best friend. We've been best friends since I was a little kid. We jump all the time together.
Now the two of them are teaching younger kids the nostalgic sport.
1, 2, turn around, turn.
while others are reminded of their childhood.
How old are you if you don't mind me asking?
Double Dutch has been an integral part of Philadelphia's cultural fabric, reflecting the city's creativity and resilience. According to the declaration signed by City Council recognizing every first Saturday as Philly Double Dutch Day, thanks to Philly Girls Jump.
It makes me feel great. It makes me feel like our mission is accomplished.
Almost. According to these besties, they say anyone can learn how to double dutch.
As long as they can jump up and down, we can teach anybody. We also have a unique way of teaching in less than 90 seconds. We can get you in a double dutch rope.
Isn't that cool? I think that's so cool. And you can see, why it's a sport. Okay, so there's a reason, even aside from it being a cool fact, there is a reason that I want to show that. What did you guys notice about double dutch? What are some observations that you had? It's fast. It's fast. It is very, very fast. Yes. Yeah, good cardio, and it's 2 ropes, not just one, right? So when we were doing double dutch, sometimes, regular jump rope, you can kind of tie if you're by yourself or you only have 2 people, you can tie one end to the doorknob or something, right? And your sister turned the rope, so 2 people can do jump rope. But you need more than one person, right? You need 2 ropes and more than one person to do double dutch. What else? There was so much joy involved with double dutching. Everyone was happy, like something happens with the adrenaline rush that gets our endorphins going, and everyone was happy. Mentorship, who said it? Talk more about that. What do you mean? Yes. You hit on 2 things, mentorship and willingness. So the first one, mentorship, it was her and her best friend that just wanted to get together. She invited one person, and between the 2 of them, thousands now come out. And now they're mentoring other people, right? And then there was a willingness, not only a willingness to help other people, but a willingness for other people to try it, right? Like you have to be pretty brave to jump in and try it, like our 2 demonstrators that were up here earlier. Yes, what else? Say it again. Friendships, yeah. You created friendships. When you're doing something active together, there's like a friendship that happens. Almost like hearing a good story. You're like living out a good story together. Yeah, what else? Anybody can do, thank you, Veronica. Anybody can do it. Men, women, kids. How old was the lady? 70 years old out there jumping, right? Anybody can do it. What else? Yeah. They created a community. And that community kind of spread so much that the city council declared the first Saturday of every month Double Dutch Saturday, right? What else? It didn't take that long to learn, right? She said 90 seconds she can teach you how to do it. 90 seconds. What about the rhythm and the timing? Yeah, the hand-eye coordination, the rhythm. If you've ever tried to jump into a jump rope, they're going opposite directions, right? So the hardest part is getting in to the rope. And that is really difficult because you have to time it, right? You're kind of like, it's almost like a dance just to get in, where you're waiting for it to open. You're like, ooh, not yet. Okay, wait. And then you jump in and you mess it all up and you try it again. But there's a certain rhythm, and it's almost like the ropes invite you in. When the rope is in the air, that's when you come in. And then it comes over and over and over again. So that timing and the rhythm of it is really, really important. Okay, what else? Who said that? Yes, what do you mean? Level of trust. Yes. Yeah. There's like a communication that happens between the jumper and the rope turners. How important are the rope turners? They're very important. They're super important. We're going to demonstrate. Okay? So I talked to a few people. I know we have a few people who can turn, and we have somebody that knows how to actually double dutch. So who wants to turn? Who wants to turn? Who can do it? It's not hard. I have 2 ropes. You can turn. Okay, come up. Tell us your name. Daria? Thank you, Daria. We need one more turner. You don't know how to turn? You know how to turn. Okay. Okay. I think we have a jumper already. Those are cute Crocs too. Okay, the one for you. Okay. So they're going to demonstrate the importance of turning. So I want you guys to observe, and we'll talk about what you see. Can you turn this way? Yeah, perfect. Are you guys related? Are you friends or something? Because you said she's going to be mad at me. Okay. Yeah. There it is. I'm going to jump, but not at this second. We're going to demonstrate. What are you guys noticing about this situation that we're watching? They have to work together. In what way, Bonnie? Timing. She had to communicate. You ready? You ready? Okay. Their arms have to be in sync, right? And depending who's jumping in, they may need to go further apart or closer together if it's a taller person, right? Do you hear the sound of it? There's a rhythm to it. If the sound is off, the jumper's going to be off, because once you're in, your feet are like, doom, 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 doom. Okay, we have someone that's going to come up and demonstrate. Are you nervous? We're going to cheer for her. Yes. Okay, you can stop until she comes up. Tell us your name. Okay, Erica is going to jump, and there's no pressure.
I said yes, but I'm like, I haven't done that since I was like 10.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, can we cheer for Erica? Let's get it, Erica. You can do that. She wants to start inside. Okay, that's okay. Try again. Jump a little faster.
Go faster?
Yeah, and maybe you guys have to come in. Yeah.
Okay, let's try it.
All right, Erica. That's okay. That's okay. You want to try one more time? Okay.
Do one rope, just do one rope so I can start jumping and then have the other one. Is that okay?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
It's going to be hard because that's going to touch it. Oh, it's a rhythm. That was a good idea. One more time.
But this has to be really far apart.
Yeah, I know. Ready?
Yeah.
Nicole?
Yeah, wait.
Don't fall. Don't fall. Okay. So what are you noticing right now? Because it's not like, but you kept trying, so right? You're gonna get it eventually. Okay. Now you're gonna go home and do it. Yes. So what's happening here? Right? She's trying to start from the middle. She tried to start from the outside. She's trying to start from the other side, because you're trying to kind of see a rhythm. Okay? Someone said that she needs to do what? Coming closer? So maybe come closer then. So, yeah. So twirl them and see.
I can do it from the outside. Okay, just go both. Ready? Go.
really good. Thank you. Did anyone else want to attempt that? Like, no, she. No? Okay. All right, can we, Erica, thank you. The crazy thing about double dutch is that there's so many ways to do it, and none of it is wrong, right? Some people like starting in the middle with the ropes going. Some people like jumping in from the side or from the middle. I'll have the ropes here if after Flourish you want to practice a little bit. You are more than welcome to. But like for me, and when me and my sister used to do it, we would come in kind of from the side at an angle, and it's whenever the rope is like up in the air, that's your chance to kind of go in. And again, once you're in, you have to speed. But again, the rope, the turners and the jumpers are equally as important. So why am I bringing this up? It's because for me, when we think about Jesus traditionally, we think about Jesus as this very stoic, kind of boring, never laughing kind of person, right? But Jesus was a lot of fun. He played with kids. He called people out all the time. He had the best comebacks. I mean, he was a cool, adventurous guy, turning water into wine. And like, he was really cool and fun and engaging. It's why people wanted to follow him. And when his invitation to discipleship for us, when he calls us and invites us into discipleship, it's not meant to be stoic and boring and straightforward and not full of joy. I want to invite you to reframe your thinking about double dutching as discipleship. Are you inviting people in to the ropes? Are you making time to understand the rules of the game? Are you practicing good discipleship? There's a few things that I want to point out here. The timing of double dutch is a lot like the timing of discipleship, right? It's now. When Jesus calls us, our call is right now. Your role is just important as the turners and the jumpers. And Jesus knew that. When he called Matthew the tax collector, he called him right then and there because Matthew the tax collector's role was just as important as Luke's, as everyone else's, right? So the timing of Jesus' call. Sometimes we, just like when we're jumping rope, like we're trying to jump in, we're like, maybe that's not what he wants me to do. We see someone that may need help. Maybe I'll help, but maybe someone else is going to help them. So we step back. Someone comes across our mind to pray for that day, and we're like, dang it, I forgot to pray for them. When God needed you to pray for them right then and there. If someone comes across your mind to call them, the Holy Spirit put that on your mind and your heart for a reason. Do it, and do it now, because there's a reason for it. All of these things are part of discipleship. All of these little things are part of discipleship. If God is calling you to do something, the timing is now. And just like double dutch, when you jump in, you have to move. You have to jump and you have to go fast. He did not come to waste time, right? He played 0 games when he was here. These stories are a short period of his life, and he did so much. So he's telling us, when you jump in, wear your tennis shoes, leave your high heels. They're cute and all, but we're going to be running. We're on an adventure. We are here to move, and to move now. He also tells us that it's a team effort. We're not meant to do it alone. Just like jump roping, we're not meant to go out and be disciples on our own. Like I said, he called 12 disciples when he didn't need not one of them. But they needed each other. We need each other. And sometimes our role is the supporting role, and sometimes our role is the active role. But all of it is important. Also, like double dutching, it takes a little bit of practice, right? And even if you were good at it at some point, when you try and do it again, you might find yourself a little rusty, right? Like, I don't really know how to pray for people. Or she's better at praying, so I'll call her and have her pray over them. No, God asked you to pray over them. God asked you to go and do that thing with the talent that you have. So again, your part is so, so important, and you're not meant to do it alone. It takes practice, and it's actually easier than we think. We just have to try. Like once you get the rhythm and the timing, once you're in and the feet are going, God handles the rest. Because we don't know what we're doing anyway. If you think that you're good at it, like without him, you are nothing, right? We already know that. And he reminds us of that often. But with him, all things are possible. He's asking for our willingness. Are we willing to be disciples for Jesus? And there is a rhythm to discipleship. There is a rhythm to knowing Jesus. This is not like we pick up our Bible and then we set it down for a month, or we pick it up on Tuesday nights to get ready for Wednesday, or, Wednesday morning to get ready for Wednesday night. That's all great, but that can't be your only rhythm. We need active rhythms to maintain good discipleship. Whatever those rhythms look like for you, get healthy, good rhythms in your life. And usually that means accountability with somebody, which coming to Florist, going to church, being part of groups outside of church, being part of groups of people that don't look like you. If you are just reaching out to people that look like you, that smell like you, act like you, work with you, that is not what Jesus called us to do. He said, go out into the world and make disciples of men. So we are meant to go out and to stretch ourselves. Sometimes all someone needs is an invitation from you. Sometimes they just need the invitation from the right person, like the lady that was double dutching. Her and her friend invited someone who invited someone who invited someone. And that's how discipleship works. Sometimes we just got to just do it and jump in and learn along the way. So I told you I have some questions for you. Are you double dutching in your life? This is the first one. Are you inviting people in to discipleship? Is the second. If you're not, how can you do that this week? How can you be more proactive and intentional in your discipleship? It's the whole reason Jesus came, so that we can have freedom and we can show other people what that freedom looks like. I ask, are you inviting? We talked about invitations at the beginning, but are we inviting? And I want to know some of the reasons why we don't invite. And I'm not going to say excuses, because these are real things. Like, there are real reasons why we don't do a lot of inviting. But why are you not inviting more? Whether that's inviting people to a function at your house or inviting people to dinner. What are some reasons that we don't do it? Yeah.
Thinking that
They might not be interested, like being rejected, assuming. Right, because we don't know. We're just in our head thinking, oh, they won't want to do this. What else? Why else don't we invite? Anxiety about what? Social anxiety. There's a lot of people and I don't want crowds. I like me and my Netflix, and that's like enough. Yes, I'm inviting myself to a Netflix party, yeah. Someone else over here said something good. Girl, yes, my house is messy. And I don't have time to clean all of this up, because we all know, ladies, that even if we're inviting people over, we're going to clean up our kids' room, the dog's room. Nobody's going back there, but it doesn't matter. Just in case of an emergency, it has to be cleaned, right? So we go way overboard. Our house is not clean. I can't invite anybody here. It's real. It's a real one. What else? They said no in the past. There's like a history of like, that hurt last time. I don't want to do that again. Okay, wait, you just said cooking. We don't want to cook. It's a lot of work. I don't feel like washing the dishes. The cooking part it can be onerous. Yeah. Yes, I love that one. love that one. I told my daughter once, she was trying to throw her a 15th birthday party when she turned 15. And she had a long invite list. And I was like, honey, listen, you can't invite everybody to the same party. Like, that could be a little bit of a disaster. She did, and it was great. So I learned something from her. But yes, like, is this person going to get along with the husband? And I don't even like the husband, so I don't want him there. Like, there's all these reasons that it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I like her, but not her sister. And she always brings a friend. And they have a dog, and I don't want her bringing yeah. What else? Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Look, she's doing this. She said, I'm too busy. I don't have time. The kids, yes. I'm just busy. And that's real. Like, we are very, very busy. Our lives are very, very busy. Yes. What else? Tired, burn out. The last thing I want to do is host people, and I worked all day, right? That is a very real thing. Effort. This is a lot of work. There's a reason event planners make a lot of money, because it is a lot of work. Say it. It's okay. This scarcity idea. I don't have enough time, and the time I have, I need it. Like, this is my time. I've worked hard for this all week. I want my Cold Stone. I'm talking about myself. I want my Cold Stone with my marshmallows mixed in, and I want to just sit, and this is my time. I've earned it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like one bad person can spoil the whole bunch. So the negative talk, and then you got to figure out how to deal with all that. Yeah, one more. Yeah. I've felt that. Did you guys hear that? She said, sometimes I feel like, what if nobody shows up? And I've gone through all this work and all these balloons and this cake. Who's going to eat all of this if nobody comes? And then what does that say about me? Right? These are all the reasons we do not invite people into our life. We do not invite discipleship into our life. This is why we hold Jesus so close to our chest, because we don't have time, we don't have this. There are so many reasons. But I'm going to give you a few rebuttals to those from Jesus. We're going to run through those in Luke 5 very quickly. Okay, so open up your Bible to Luke 5. Okay, the first one, time, which I think is really a lot of our number one reason. What does Jesus say about time, though? He says, now is the time. There's never a better time. Even if you had a month, we know we're going to wait till the week before to get it all together. There is no better time. He says in Luke 5:11, when he's talking to Peter, he says, after he told Peter to fear not, he says, when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. It didn't say Peter went home and packed up a few things, paid off a couple of credit cards and all of that before no, it said as soon as the ship came to land, he forsook all and followed him. The timing is now. In Luke 5:25, we see a similar thing happening here. This is the man with palsy, and he's lame, which I think is a cool story that his friends kind of crack down the roof and lowers his friend into the roof because the house is crowded. The man said in 5:25, Jesus says, after he healed him, immediately he rose up before them. Immediately. Jesus' work is immediate. The time is now. And then when he called Matthew in verse 27 to 29, when you read through that, what did Matthew do? After he calls Matthew and he says, follow me, he left everything. And in verse 29, what did he do? Levi is Matthew. What did he do? Levi made him a great banquet, a feast, a party. Where? In his house. He opened up his house and he threw a great party. And who did he invite? The tax collectors, the negative naysayers, the people that nobody liked. And how many of them did he invite? A great crowd of them, a lot of them. And we know that Matthew was a fisherman, so he didn't live in a big mansion. But a lot of people came to his house, and there was enough. He said they all sat down with them. There is room, there is enough. The other idea is fear. We have fear, right? Fear of not having enough food, fear of all the things. But Jesus tells Peter to fear not. Not only Peter, he tells everybody this. From Luke 5, verses 4 through 11, he invites Peter and his crew to cast down their nets, and Peter is so amazed at all the fish that comes back in. He drops to his feet and he says, Lord, like I'm fearful. He said, fear not. Because Jesus provides all of the things. All we have to do is kind of step into it. Someone also said not willing, right? Like I just don't want to do it. And Jesus uses another example of this in Luke 5, verse 12, and the second part of this. This is after he's talking to the man with leprosy. And verse 12 says, and it came to pass when he was in a certain city, behold, a man full of leprosy, not just a little, but full, who seeing Jesus fell on his face and besought him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, or if you are willing. So are we willing? Are we willing to try to invite? Are we willing to try to see if our fears are real and rational? Are we willing to trust God that whatever happens, he has already ordained it? It was just up to us to open our mouth and extend the invitation, just like he does for us. The last one I'll mention is my house is too fill in the blank. Too small, too messy, too any of that. In Luke 5, 17 through 20, Jesus was preaching in a crowded house when the rooftop was open and the friends brought their lame friend down. Everywhere he went, there were crowds of people, but Jesus always provided. He provided and made sure there was enough fish, there was enough wine, there was enough room, there was enough healing. He made space for people to touch the hem of his garment. So in our discipleship, are we making room for Jesus to work miracles? Are we open to being his mouthpiece? This idea of scarcity, not enough, Pastor Matt Hammond talked about it on Sunday as far as money, but it also extends to our time, our resources. There's not enough. So I want to end with a story about, I love to garden. I probably mention it every time I'm speaking. It's because I love gardening. I love it. And when I first started, when I was a baby gardener, and I was, we went to California and we stayed in an Airbnb in this really cool community. And in California, they have the water. It's like not a dry heat, so things grow and flourish. Unlike here, where you got to really do a lot of work. So all the lawns, I'm walking my dog, and all the lawns are manicured and have these beautiful gardens in the front yard. And as I'm walking my dog, we come across this one, which was a hot mess. It was taken over by sunflowers. This is probably like 8 feet tall, and believe it or not, there is a house behind there, okay? But I was amazed at these sunflowers. First of all, I'm like, they're orange, like I've never seen these. What are these things? So Dexter, my dog, who I told you was named after my husband, we were like in there, like sniffing the flowers, like he was sniffing, I was looking at them. And then out from over the bushes, we see this lady's head pop up, and she has these dirty, dusty goggles on, and her hair is up in a messy bun, beautiful gray hair, but in a messy bun, and scared me to death. And I scared her. So she screamed, I screamed, Dexter's barking, okay? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was just admiring your flowers. And she was like, oh, she looked like the guy from Back to the Future. That's what she looked like, okay? So I'm trying to take this lady seriously with her, her goggles looking crazy. But she was so excited. She's like, oh, these were Mexican sunflowers, and this is how they grow, and da-da-da-da. She's giving me way more details, okay, than I wanted to know. But I was so interested because she was so excited, right? I love a good story, right? So she's telling me all about these flowers. I tell her I'm from Arizona. I don't think I can grow them there. She goes, sure you can grow them there. And this lady knew something about scarcity that I didn't know at the time. She said, here, I'm going to cut off one of these flowers, and you're going to take it back to your hotel, and you're going to let it die. And when it dies, you're going to let it dry for a couple of days. And when it's completely dry, the inside of the sunflower is going to have over 1,000 sunflower seeds in it. From one flower. I was like, oh my God. So I did that. I went home in the Airbnb. I had this flower sitting here. I took it back with me to Arizona. I let it dry. And sure enough, that was 5 years ago. And to this day, I still have packets and packets of Mexican sunflower seeds from the one flower head that she gave me. Jesus is frustrated with our idea of scarcity. There is enough. There is enough of Jesus. There is enough room. And it's our job to make room. He will fill the space. He will make sure there's enough food for everyone. But you are like the sunflower head. Your one sunflower head has the potential to save thousands of lives. Your one seed, when mature, can flourish in thousands of people's lives. If you watch your timing, if you watch the rhythm of how a sunflower grows, if you're willing to step in, if you're willing to give the sunflower to someone, if you're willing to invite them in, if you're willing to create a community. This is what Jesus tells us. This is why he leaves the 99 and goes back for the one. You are the one he came back for. And it's our job as disciples to spread those seeds. 12 disciples, you guys, made sure that his word reached the edges of the earth. How much more can we do with our internet and all of these things? How much more can we do? And it's our job to do it. So on your tables, I put a packet of sunflower seeds for each of you. This is not Mexican sunflowers. These are mammoths, so they're the big ones. You're going to get a lot of seeds out of this. So at your table, split them up. Everyone take a few home. I would love for you, this is the perfect time to plant seeds right now. I have become the crazy garden lady. I have become the Marty McFly, Doc, whatever. That is me in my neighborhood. So I'm sharing that with you guys to take a seed and plant it and let it grow. And it's going to die. That's fine. It's supposed to. When it dies, dry it out and take those seeds and give them to your family. Spread them, spread them, spread them. And until that happens, use your voice now and spread it now. Okay. All right, are you guys going to do that? Are you guys going to do that? If you're not going to do it, don't take the seeds, or maybe take them and give it to somebody who you know will do it. But still go out and be disciples. Think about this. Will you go? That's Jesus' invitation to us. Will you go? So, discussion questions next week. Yeah. So next week, you guys will have discussion questions that you can talk about as it relates to this, maybe some good stories that you can tell related to all of this. But thank you so much for participating and for jumping. We had someone hurt their ankle after jumping earlier or her knee. But the jump ropes are here if you want to practice doing some double dutch and take some pictures or whatever. I am not liable if you hurt yourself. Okay. And it's not my fault. Okay, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Rachel.